The man in black flared across the desert and the gunslinger followed. With those fateful words, the stage is set for Stephen King's 8-volume opus, The Dark Tower. Starring Idris Elba as the gunslinger of legend and Matthew McConaughey as the malicious man in black. But don't worry, we're not going to obsessively pore over it or anything. I am of course joking, that is what we do. So the big question hanging over this adaptation used to be, where exactly does it sit in the timeline? Is it a prequel or a sequel? From what we can see in the trailer, it's mainly a mishmash of the first 2 books, with a couple of elements here and there borrowed from other places in the series. Exactly how intact that timeline remains, we'll have to wait and see. So here's our protagonist, Jake Chambers, New York preteen turned interdimensional wanderer. He's got a couple of father-son bonding moments with the gunslinger in this trailer, which are probably going to be the emotional heart of the film, but he's also a pretty troubled protagonist. We see him in the beginning here in therapy, here are a couple of his weird creepy drawings, and then his therapist says,
"They're just dreams. They're not real, Jake."
Which proves that he's a complete idiot, because he's in a Stephen King adaptation where children are always right about the creepy thing. So when their session is interrupted by this ominous shaking, that's no earthquake, that's a beamquake. Sure sign that the Dark Tower, the linchpin between all the dimensions, is being attacked with the technology of the great old ones. It's not a good sign. Also, that's the Overlook Hotel in that picture. In fact, expect a lot of Stephen King references throughout, including this creepy Pennywise carnival. Stephen King actually wrote himself into these books as a character, so this is very much King's world, and we're just living in it. So in this trailer we get a pretty good look at the 2 seismic forces of the Dark Tower universe, the Gunslinger and the Man in Black. First up it's Roland DeChain, otherwise known as the Gunslinger. So it's safe to say that he's looking pretty goddamn amazing. At this point we pay to see Idris Elba read the phone book while dressed as a Teletubby. Yeah, we would pay to see that. Roland is the last in the line of Arthur Eld, a kind of King Arthur analogue for this fantasy world. He's a gunslinger on a mission to find the Dark Tower, said to be the centre of all things, climb it and right all of the wrongs in the land. His mixture of duty-bound, holy samurai warrior and hard-boiled western hero is pure Sergio Leone, which is probably why they went with this. That really puts an itch in your trigger finger. So we get a whole lot of shots of the gunslinger slinging his guns about, and you hear a few choice lines from the gunslinger's prayer.
"I do not kill with my gun. I kill with my heart."
Which is so badass that they'd have to be mad not to include it, but who's going to be in his sights? These swarthy gents are most likely to be the Taheen, the Man in Black's henchmen, and these guys are probably the henchmen of New York crime boss Enrico Balazar. There are some fleeting glimpses of monsters as well, a lot of which don't look that impressive, particularly this one, which kind of looks like it's wandered off the set of a Resident Evil film. We're not that impressed by that, but this doorway demon, which guards the interdimensional portal and is made up of the substance of the house on Dutch Hill, this looks pretty cool. On the other side of the coin we've got the Man in Black, the mysterious, shadowy servant of the Crimson King, who we see him paying homage to here. In the books he's very much a player of mind games. All too often he destroys his enemies by playing with their sense of reality, so it seems kind of a shame that McConaughey is playing a much more generic bad guy in this trailer, and also what is this Chris Angel mind freak bullshit? The world of Midland seems pretty faithful to the books. It's a post-apocalyptic setting, but with random pieces of Earth architecture dotted around the landscape, like this remnant of a tower block here. So we can at least rely on the setting and mood of the landscape to be pretty spot on. Some of the signs are promising at this stage, and we can be sure there's going to be a lot of awesome fantasy hijinks, but some are less so. The only thing that we can be sure of is that, like all fantasy epics, there's going to be a whole lot of walking. So those are our thoughts on the Dark Tower trailer. Subscribe and follow us for new videos every week, and tell us in the comments below what you reckon you'd most like to have read to you by Idris Elba while dressed as a Teletubby. Both of you.